Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pitch Side Podcast. I'm your host, the HOD of the BSP, and like, share as usual, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel, of course, enable all notifications to receive the updates of this kind of videos and all other content on the channel. Follow us on social media. I'm at BSP on Twitter and BitchSideboard on Instagram. And from tomorrow, the podcast will be back, and you can listen to it on Spotify, Google Podcasts, or wherever you can get your podcasts from, or catch it later on the day at www.webreathesports.com. It's December, so we're late December really, we're near January, the end of the year, which means that the transfer window opens, and I'm going to be focusing on the team that I support, Bayern Munich, and we're going to be talking some Bayern Munich transfer centre sort of speculation mania here on this video. This won't be very long, but I'm going to be touching on the biggest probably issues with Bayern Munich transfer window at the moment, and what they need and what probably they don't need, and the moves that they should make, I would say, in my opinion, in the transfer window. Of course, the first big move I think everybody is considering, and everybody almost sure that it will be happening, it's David Alaba is going to be starting negotiation with a certain club, but most is going to be Real Madrid at the moment. They are in pole position to take David Alaba to guarantee his services to the club. The 28, soon to be 29, Austrian former left back and now centre back is going to be leaving the club. He refused to renew his contract despite the attempts from the board of the club. Karl-Heinz Rummenigge and Ole Hoeneß were pretty adamant. They did everything possible to try and persuade David Alaba to stay at the club. They threw a huge deal at him reportedly a couple of months ago to stay at the club, but he refused back in late October, I would say. And it seems like a very, very big certainty that David Alaba is going to be leaving the club in the summer, if not in January, which of course poses the question, should Bayern Munich go and buy another centre-half? And at the moment it looks like Dayot Upamecano, the Leipzig centre-half, is available, I would say, or Bayern are in a pole position to get him, but we don't know really. Bayern were in a pole position to buy Kai Havertz as well, and in the end he went to Chelsea. They were in a pole position to buy a lot of players, and they were linked with a lot of players before, but they couldn't finalise the deal for a combination of maybe pure hoax from the media and also the lack of willingness from the Bayern board to pay a lot of money. We all know that the Bayern board isn't exactly Man City or PSG in terms of paying money and throwing it at the players. The record signing is Lucas Hernandez with 75 million euros. You look at the record signing for other clubs really, and it pales comparatively. You look at Barcelona, they brought Griezmann with 120, they brought 150 practically for Coutinho, 100 for Dembele. So I think Bayern Munich isn't exactly the most generous of teams when it comes to throwing money at the clubs. So with David Alaba gone, potentially the place is going to be there for a centre-half, although do you need another centre-half when you have Lucas Hernandez, who could easily deputise for the absence of David Alaba, but he's also a left-back, so you would need him when Alphonso Davies is injured. And Jerome Boateng, I don't think that can be a regular starter anymore. I think the future in the Bayern Munich defence, if anything, is going to be Niklas Süle. For all of his labouring sort of nature in the defence, he couldn't really run a lot, he couldn't give you a lot of speed in the back, and especially when you're playing a high line you need pacey defenders. Lucas Hernandez I think adds that in the centre-half position, so it would be decent to have him alongside Süle to cover for his slow nature sometimes, but I don't think, Niklas Süle doesn't lack speed, but he really lacks pace. He's not slow, but he's not pacey, he doesn't make quick runs to recover from his. If he starts defending in the wrong position, he would not recover at time. That's what I'm trying to say. So do Bayern need another defender? I would say yes. They would need another centre half at least as a recovery. But here is what I'm thinking of contradicting myself. Dayot Upamecano cannot be a replacement, cannot be a second option. If you bring in Dayot Upamecano, you're bringing him as a prime centre half. You're bringing him as a first option. So you're going to be doing that at the expense of a certain player. It's either going to be Jerome Boateng or going to be Niklas Süle. Jerome Boateng, as I mentioned, he's now old, 33. is not the same as he used to be before. I mean, after 2015-2016, I think Jerome Boateng is done for good. Yes, he's sort of revitalised his life at Bayern in the last 12 months or so, being part of the side that won the Champions League, being a crucial part, I would say. He was a starter for most of the matches. I think he was a starter in the final as well against PSG before replaced in the break by Niklas Süle. So I think you need to keep Niklas Süle. So I think he is the future replacement if you're going to be bringing Upamecano. Bayern again in a poor position to sign him, but they don't have exactly the best precedence when it comes to being in pole position to sign players, because they don't finish those kind of deals. Sometimes they have a tendency to be lazy on finishing deals sometimes, and they tend to opt out of signing important players. They opted out of keeping Perisic, they opted out of keeping Coutinho. Perisic, by the way, is rumoured to be leaving Inter Milan, so if Bayern want to have another option up front, probably Perisic is going to be a good option. He's been decent with Bayern, I'm not going to lie, he's been decent, he's been part of the Champions League winning squad as well, so it's obviously going to make sense if you're going to buy him to have another option forward. So but still in the Upamecano part of things, if you're going to be bringing Upamecano, obviously Bayern Munich need to pay big, because that guy is going to be costing money if you're going to get him. His quality at 22 years of age, pretty much 21 years of age, he is not going to be costing you like 100 million or 90 million or anything like that. I mean, he's going to be costing someone in the range of 50 to 60 million, and that is if we get him now, because 1 year from now, and if he makes it into the French squad in the Euros in particular, you don't expect that guy in the summer to be sold for less than 70 or 80 million euros or 90 million euros, which is a sum that I don't think Bayern Munich are ready to pay at the moment. Any team is ready to pay at the moment for a defender, whatever his quality may be. So I think Bayern would try to look elsewhere for some certain options in terms of defenders. There's not a lot of exciting prospects around the league as well. I think probably they need to look at the other players in Leipzig as well. There's other players available who could deputise for both a right back or a left back position in the centre half. Klostermann, Halstenberg, these players in Leipzig could deputise for that as well. Ibrahima Konate, the second centre half of Leipzig, is also decent. I stressed on the fact that he is as good as the Upamecano is in Leipzig, so probably Bayern Munich could look at him instead of looking at Upamecano and bringing him in the January transfer window. I think that is for the defensive part. I don't think there's a lot of options, but Upamecano is going to be a very, very big upgrade on Niklas Süle. He's quick. I think he's much more comfortable on the ball than Süle, I would say. He looks shaky, Süle, sometimes on the ball, so I think Upamecano is going to be an upgrade, a massive upgrade on Süle in terms of controlling the ball, and you could build from the back and you could be comfortable in him. He's quick and he reads the game really well. His starting position are almost exceptional. Like 9 times out of 10 he starts in the right position, he makes the right tackle and makes the right clearance at the right time. Moving on and move across the field now and into the midfield side of things. And here's where Bayern Munich face, I think, some issues or dilemmas. A couple of months ago I made a video, I think, about a couple of proper big time signings, I would say, that Bayern were linked with. I think it was early November, I would say, late November. I made that video talking about Frenkie de Jong and Camavinga, Eduardo Camavinga, who were both linked with Bayern Munich at certain points. I mean, reports were suggesting that Bayern Munich was scooping to steal both of these players, and Frenkie de Jong in particular, it was rumoured that he's going to be bought by Bayern for a fairly cheap price of probably 40 to 45 million euros, considering that Barcelona are in a dire need of finances at the moment to sort of get themselves out of the hell that they're in right now before the new election kicks on. I tried to question myself whether should Bayern sign both players or should they sign one player. Should they go for Camavinga on his own? Should they go for de Jong on his own? Is de Jong going to be a good option when you have Kimmich and Goretzka, when they are fully fit, of course, and you have now Musiala rising through the ranks? He's really impressive and he's going to be obviously contending for a starting place in Bayern in the future. And you also have the option of Tolisso when he's fit. He's decent. I think he's still didn't reach his full potential yet with Bayern, despite this has been the third, fourth season with him with the club. So it's going to be hard to really make choices. And that's why I'm saying it's problematic to think of these two as a 2-for-1 option or 2-for-1 special, if you think. So probably the Bayern board, if these rumours are true, and if Bayern Munich are going to be buying one of those players or both of them, they're going to be creating a lot of problems because Kimmich is undroppable. I don't think they can drop Kimmich at all. And if you're dropping Kimmich, Hansi Flick must be crazy. Goretzka is doing so well also, and I mean lately he's injured, but when he's fit he's doing so well that you cannot drop him as well, and you have him as a strong attack and support option. He's a great box to box at the moment. He's one of the best in the world at the moment. He improved a lot, both physically, but technically, tactically. He understands the game even better now. So bringing the likes of Frenkie de Jong or Eduardo Camavinga is going to only add problems for Hansi Flick. Yes, it will be the good kind of problems, but you think of this lineup, you think of Goretzka, Kimmich, you think of de Jong and Camavinga, who's going to be dropping? And depending on the price that you're going to be buying one or two of these players, it's going to be hard to drop either, and it's going to be hard to come around and form a partnership in the centre of the park. The rotation is going to be key, and with the games coming thick and fast, yes. I know I'm talking about this as it's almost reality, but it's not, so I'm keeping my feet down on the floor, I'm keeping it on the ground, I'm being realistic. Let's wait and see what's going to happen in that regard, but I don't think realistically that Bayern could buy could buy both Camavinga and Frenkie de Jong at once. I don't think that they're going to be able to buy him with the price that they want to buy him, because obviously Bayern Munich will not pay hefty prices for any of those, let alone both combined. So I think, in my opinion, probably the best course of action is to just test the waters at the moment, stay still and see what is going to be going on in the rest of the transfer window as it goes in January for these players. Again, up front, probably another body. I think a better replacement for Lewandowski than Choupo-Moting. Yes, I know that Choupo-Moting might not be the best replacement. I mean, he's a decent player. I mean, he's not bad, but for a Bayern Munich squad that wants to play on everything and win everything, I don't think that Choupo-Moting should be a good replacement for Lewandowski. And Bayern would struggle in any way without Lewandowski, let alone with having Choupo-Moting as a striker. I'd prefer to have, I don't know, Zirkzee starting as a striker for, again, over Choupo-Moting and better than Choupo-Moting in my opinion, because at least you give that guy a proper chance to show his talent, and he has shown his talent before in the squad. So to sum it up, I think overall, in this quick look at the Bayern plans in the transfer market, I think try to finalise the situation with David Alaba as amicably as possible. Probably get the best deal you could get out of David Alaba. He's not moving on for free. He's going to be just discussing if he's moving on free, that's going to be a disaster. But I think Bayern Munich would negotiate and would try to have the best deal possible out of his move to possibly Real Madrid. We don't know. If you're going to be getting Upamecano instead of him, you need to start him over the players that you have, which means I think Lucas Hernandez is undroppable. You cannot drop the record signing that you have because that is ridiculous. So it's going to be an option between Boateng and Söler. In the middle of the park, I think monitor the situation of de Jong, and Eduardo Camavinga until you see what's going to be happening for those. And up front, I think you probably should still rely on the front line that you have in Gnabry, Koeman, Sané, Douglas Costa and Lewandowski and Choupo-Moting, but you need to bring, I think, a better striker than Choupo-Moting because he himself is not that young. He's 30 years of age and he's not going to be adding a lot. He's not your future, and you need someone who's going to be your future, a future replacement for Lewandowski, because Lewandowski himself doesn't have a lot left in the tank in terms of football. 2-3 years at the very best. I don't think that he's going to be doing a la Zlatan Ibrahimovic and keep playing until 39. So I think overall Bayern Munich should focus and try to monitor the situations of the players that they want to get to the club. Quick note aside as well, get Nöbel a couple of serious starts in the Bundesliga. His only start and his first start and his only one was against Atletico Madrid in the Champions League. Aside from the game in the cup against the fifth tier side, I don't remember exactly the name of that club, but it was against the fifth tier side in the DFB Pokal. That's it for this sort of quick talk about the transfer plans, probably for Bayern. What should they do in the transfer window coming in January? Like, share, comment on the video, tell us who you think Bayern should buy in the transfer window coming in January. Who should they sell? Probably, if you think should they sell any players? In my opinion, I don't think they should sell. Follow me at Twitter on SidePSP, PitchSidePod on Instagram, and tomorrow the podcast is going to be back, so make sure you listen to that on Spotify, Google Podcasts, or wherever you can get it from. I was your boy, the HOD of the PSP, and until tomorrow's podcast episode, or hopefully a video later on for either the Liverpool-Newcastle game or the Real Madrid-Elche game, depending on the situation. Hopefully we're going to have another recap tonight, and tomorrow the podcast is going to be back. So I was your boy, the HOD of the PSP, and until the next time, I'll be seeing you soon. Goodbye.